Hi everyone, Morgan here. Today I'm answering some frequently asked questions about Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. So first of all, if you don't have Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers yet, these are from Wallaby Goods and I highly suggest that you go get them from here. They're the absolute best bags I have ever used in my entire life. I've been doing this for a very, very long time, over a decade. I've used a lot of Mylar bags. These are the absolute best. I'm a fan and a customer for life, and if you want some, get your Mylar bags at the website down below in the description and use my code Preparedness to get $5 off. As you can see, these have the zippers, and a lot of people ask me, do I still need to heat seal even if they have the zipper? Yes, you always need to heat seal even if you do have the zipper. The heat seal is an actual seal. The zipper is not 100% sealable. Even if you go over it a million times and make sure it's totally sealed, air could still technically get out or in, whatever. And so you always want to heat seal it. Heat sealing it makes sure that it is absolutely sealed, right? So when you put the oxygen absorber in, remember, it's an oxygen absorber. It only absorbs oxygen. And oxygen is about 21% of air. So your bags may or may not look sucked in. These have oxygen absorbers in them. And as you can see, none of them look sucked in, okay? Not all of your bags will look like they're vacuum sealed. A lot of people get really confused about that because they're expecting that when they're thinking that the oxygen absorber is taking all of the air out, which will make it look sucked in. But not everything does that. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. If you take your oxygen absorber out of the package and it's soft and malleable and there's no indicator on it, some of them have indicators that say like this is good, it's bad, but it doesn't have any indicator on it or whatever, then it's fine. Put it in and it'll be working. You can use anywhere between 300 and 500 cc's for 1 gallon bags. I say that variable because there's a lot of debate about which ones are better. I've used 300 cc's with the 1 gallon and they've been perfectly fine. I've used 400 and it's been fine. 500 is fine as well. You can use more oxygen absorbers and it's not going to hurt anything, but you could use too little. So if you're just concerned about it, you can always put another one in there. But the ones that usually come in the packages, like the ones that came with these gallon bags, are 400 cc. So I just use the 400 and it's perfectly fine. You want to use 2,000 cc's in 5-gallon buckets. You could also use 2,500 cc's. Again, there's a debate there. I've always been under the guideline of 2,000 cc's for 5-gallon buckets or 5-gallon Mylar bags. But again, some people use 2,500. That's perfectly fine. You can go with whatever one's going to feel more comfortable for you. I've used 2,000 and it's been perfectly fine. So Mylar is a really good way to preserve things. A lot of people are concerned with leaching toxins. I've never heard of this concern. I'm not sure if it's a concern to you. Do your diligence and do research. I've never heard of any concern like that, but no matter what, you want to keep these bags out of direct sunlight. Put these bags inside of bins, locking bins, or inside of buckets. So if you do, you package this, you want to put it inside of a bin or a bucket. And this helps with, 1, keeping it out of any direct sunlight or light in general, and 2, it keeps it away from critters. So another question I get asked is, do you need to freeze food before you put it in a Mylar bag? No, you do not need to freeze food before you put it in a Mylar bag. The reason is, the only reason people freeze food, or they used to freeze food, is because they didn't have oxygen absorbers. Way back in the day, they would freeze their flour or rice or whatever before they ate it so that it would kill the bugs. We don't have to do that if you're going to store it for long-term purposes. If you want to do that for your everyday eating, go for it. And if you still want to freeze it, go for it. Nobody's going to stop you. I'm just telling you that if you're going to be storing the rice or the flour or whatever that you're freezing, you do not have to. Because what happens when you put it in the bag? You're then putting an oxygen absorber in, and guess what? You're taking the oxygen out of the air, and nothing can survive without that oxygen. So you're initially halting all bug life whenever you put it in these Mylar bags with an oxygen absorber. There's nothing that they can survive with, right? So you don't have to freeze things. If you still want to, go for it. Nobody's gonna stop you. I'm just telling you, you don't have to. Do you need to push all the air out before you seal it? No, it's totally not necessary. The only reason people do this is to try to save some space, like in their bins or their buckets. So you're totally welcome to, seal it, push a little bit of air out, and then put the oxygen absorber in, and then completely seal it so that you're making sure that all of the air is out, and then the oxygen absorber will take out the rest of the oxygen. And in these cases, you probably will see some sort of vacuum sealing effect going on, but you don't have to. It's totally not necessary to push all the air out before you put it in. People usually do it just to save space. Oxygen absorbers are not reusable. You cannot reuse an oxygen absorber. It takes about 4 hours for the oxygen absorber to fully take effect and take out all the oxygen within the air in the bags. If you open it back up and you take the oxygen absorber out, it needs to be thrown away. And if you're planning on resealing it or using this again for long term, like you just want to take a cup out or something, but then you don't want to use it again for a while and you want to reseal it back up, you have to put a new oxygen absorber in. So how do you preserve extra oxygen absorbers? This is a big debate. A lot of people put it in a jar, but I'm not a big fan of this because when all the oxygen absorbers get inside that jar and you close it up, they're all activating together. And there could be moisture buildup inside, which actually could damage the oxygen absorbers. So I would just be careful of that. And the safest way to preserve oxygen absorbers is going to be vacuum sealing them. They came vacuum sealed for a reason. You want to make sure that you're re-vacuum sealing the oxygen absorbers. The Wallaby Goods oxygen absorbers comes in a 10 pack. The 2000 cc's actually come in a single pack, which is genius. But their 400 cc's comes in a pack of 10. So I usually wait until I have 10 bags ready to go, and then I'll just use the 10 pack right away and I don't have to vacuum seal anything. So that's usually what I do. And that's usually just because, I don't know, I'm lazy and I don't want to vacuum seal the oxygen absorbers, but that's just me. Do you have to use a food grade bucket? You do have to use a food grade bucket if you are going to put the contents of food directly into the food grade bucket. You do not need to use a food grade bucket if you're going to put the Mylar bags inside of the food grade bucket. Now, if you still want to use a food grade bucket and put the Mylar bags in there, it's totally up to you. I'm just saying you don't have to use the food grade buckets if you're just going to put the Mylar bags inside of it. Same with the bins, like I don't use food grade bins when I store my Mylar bags inside. But if you're going to put contents directly into the bucket, yes, I would use a food grade bucket and make sure to clean the buckets and lids before you put the food directly into the buckets. Can Mylar bags be reused? So yes and no. Like this, it has pasta in it. Is it really, is it powdery? No. Is it going to leave like a lot of residue behind? No. So like if I use this bag all up and I want to use it again, I could definitely probably do that. I'll just clean it out and then just put something else in it. And then since I've probably peeled this off, I'll want to seal below the zipper. I may just even want to cut it completely and then seal and then put the new contents inside. Make sure to always clean clean the bag first. You could also cut the bags in half. So like at any time you're like, you know what, this bag is way too big, I just want to cut it in half, you can. And then you just put the contents down here, seal, and then you can seal both of these ends and then the contents are in there. That's it. Wallaby does actually sell MRE style patches or pouches. They're smaller, so you can put, single servings in there and stuff. I like that. But let's say I'm using buttermilk powder. It's very powdery, leaves a lot of residue behind, might be really difficult to clean. I may not reuse this one. It just kind of depends on what was in there first. So this is totally up to you. You want to try to clean the bag and reuse it? Be my guest. Just remember that whatever was inside it before could have potential impacts on the new food items that are inside. I understand you want to reuse things, but if you cannot properly clean the bag, then it's probably not a good idea to reuse it. So those are some frequently asked questions about Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. I hope that this has been helpful. If you're going to be buying Mylar bags, get them from Wallaby Goods. Use my code Preparedness for $5 off and link down below in the description and go directly to their website to purchase. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any other questions that I haven't answered, please put them down below in the description. I will talk to y'all later. Conquer tomorrow by preparing today. Bye-bye.